All right, so this is one of those things at Panama City Beach that we ain't got to show you yet on Chasing the Sun, but we're gonna head out blue water fishing. And when I say blue water, I mean way offshore.
We're just taking these jigs and dropping them down about 100 feet. There's tunas busting all around us. Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. Amazing bite.
The first one that came out of the water behind that plug, I was terrified.
He's been working his whole life trying not to get this close to a boat.
Yeah, look at that!
Chasing the Sun is brought to you by Holiday Inn Resort, Panama City Beach. Humminbird, simply, clearly better. Dulce Vida Tequila. Smith Optics. And by Pirates Cove Marina. You enjoy the Gulf, we'll take care of the rest.
Getting underway a little after dark, having to navigate out of St. Andrews Bay under the drawbridge. It's kind of interesting, night, light.
You know, it always takes like forever, it feels like, to get there the first time, you know, because you're going through the night, but you want to make sure you get there in time before daylight, because that's when you're going to be able to catch your black fins for the bait.
This is the stuff that Mullet's been sitting, you know, at the house planning. We're not gonna run all through the night. You know, we're gonna try to conserve fuel and just, you know, ease out about 10 knots. So we're gonna run like over 100 miles offshore, straight out into the Gulf of Mexico. And what's cool is once you get out that far, there's a bunch of oil platforms out there.
Yeah, me and Joey, we drew the short straw, and we were the last ones up that night. And I tell you what, I feel like we were coming up on those things. I kept asking, like, we're gonna be up on them? We're gonna be up on it. It seemed like an hour.
He said, yeah, you're about an hour out. You know, he's looking at it going, but it's right there. And I said, it's a lot bigger than you think when you're coming out.
It's like the first time walking into Yankee Stadium. You know, the lights out there, and you see them from everywhere. That's the only shed of light that's out there.
And, you know, these oil platforms are not just what you would think, like you see on land, where it's just a little pump. I mean, it's like a whole city pretty much by itself sitting out in the middle of the Gulf. You have a lot of anticipation. I know, like Strap, you probably have a little pressure. Like you're trying to herd a bunch of cats here and show us what to do. We're trying to catch baits, get them out.
I got a good bait here.
So we're gonna fish for tunas, but the blackfins are not our primary target. We're gonna try to target the yellowfin tunas.
The blackfins that we were catching, we actually used those mostly for bait.
The next part of that process is the sunrise, because that's what we're waiting on. We're not gonna really start fishing until that sun starts to come up. And as soon as that sun comes up, that's when you get that morning bite.
All these blackfin tunas you see busting on the surface, they're all around us out here. That's what these big yellowfins come to feed on right there. So what do? You catch a blackfin, send them back out for a yellowfin.
Trying to get on these marks as fast as we could. So it was a few of us trying to catch bait. Those tunas don't last long. They're very fragile. You got to take care of them. They need a lot of water flow.
11-aught mustad, 3 strong, inline circle hook with a snell going back through the eye.
Got to use some specialized equipment. We got a thing called a dart, basically a bait dart, which is really kind of a cool deal. If you can imagine a harpoon, you stick it right through the nose of the bait like this, and then you pull it back out and it leaves your little harpoon arrowhead in the fish's mouth there. Your string attached, and it leaves a nice big circle hook just completely exposed above its head. That's the beauty of using live blackfins for bait. You can kind of cull out the small yellowfins by doing that. Pretty much everything you're going to catch is going to be in that 100+ pound class. When you get a bite on a fish that may weigh 5 or 10 pounds, you know you're hooking into something good. Yeah.
The end result should be good.
Right.
Good job.
There we go. Woo! I was just kind of messing around. You guys were fishing, and then Jason hooks up, and he hands it to me immediately.
Money, money!
Woo!
That could be a billfish, but he's acting more like a tuna.
Big gold.
Tail right tuna.
When it comes up to the top, back that drag off.
All right, buddy.
It's like the end of a workout.
Get that line.
trying to push,
Get that line to the left.
Yeah.
So this is one of those trips where you just have an idea. I know me and Mullet have been talking about doing this for a long time, and we're gonna fish for tunas, but we're gonna run like over 100 miles offshore, straight out into the Gulf of Mexico. Right as the sun started coming up, we were sitting there at the first rig fishing.
We're just taking these jigs and dropping them down about 100 feet. There's little tunas busting all around us. So we're jigging up these little tunas and sending them right back out on the big rod. And obviously, one of these big fish out here found that little tuna. And now Cody's attached.
Yes. I don't know what to do. So I have Strap here talking me through everything. Reel this way, stop that. You're getting tired, don't reel with 2 hands. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, the old double hand reel is a big no-no, yeah.
And, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. No, he didn't teach. That was all Strap right there. You don't realize how powerful it is. I've caught AJs out here, I've caught big grouper, but the power that thing can just take off at a moment's notice.
Big gold.
Tail right tuna.
When it comes up to the top, back that drag off.
All right, buddy.
Yeah. We didn't know when it was until I had it on the wire and we got it up to the boat and we saw it was tail wrap. The fish was still green. I don't think Cody had fought it 25, 30 minutes. As soon as I saw the fish, I knew it was pretty green. You gaff ready?
Yeah.
He took a pretty good bit.
Oh, it did?
Hey, Strap.
Yeah.
That definitely sets a little bit of a different tone because that's obviously put a lot of wear on your leader where it's wrapped around his tail. So there was a bit of anxiety after seeing that on his first time.
And when we're tuna fishing, you have to fish a fairly light leader compared to like trolling lures for marlin or something, because they're real leader shot. They have great vision.
Bring that snap
Just keep
swivel
it-
all the way up to the top. Reason is you don't want your main line to wrap around that, so just make sure that snap swivel.
Drive it in.
Yeah,
Don't drive it.
yeah, just snug it up there.
Okay, within an inch.
Yeah.
But the second time it came up, I noticed watching it that once you got that fish's tail out of the water, you kind of just kept them coming. And it was one of those like now or never moments.
I got him. All right, you want to go? All right, y'all watch out. Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I'm tired just watching you. That's awesome. That's a good one. And when he came up tail first, that first time, I could see these streamers almost to his tail, you know? Yeah. I was like, he's good. He's a good one.
Once the first fish hits the deck, everybody breathes a sigh of relief. It's
Party
like, man,
time.
man, we didn't burn a pile of fuel for nothing, you know? Like that's a lot of diesel being burnt to get 140 miles
we
out
didn't burn
there.
any fuel. It was that Jason guy.
Yeah,
That's why he's at work.
You know, the
yeah,
guy that's at work
he's
right
still
now.
working to pay the fuel bill right now.
We burned
I
all
do
his
believe,
fuel, so it was
but,
okay. No big deal.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times you get this morning bite with these tunas, and when you have this much invested in a really long ride, you don't want one plan.
No,
I mean, you want
you got to be able to
plans.
do multiple things. And when one dies off, like the bait started getting really hard to catch, we didn't have a way to store the live bait, so we had to kind of move to a transition to a plan B, which naturally at that time was trolling, and something that we do quite a bit of, so it's an easy transition for us. We put the rods out, set the baits in the outriggers, and just start trolling around, and generally making larger circles around the structure. See the production platforms that we moved to second. It's actually a big platform, and it actually is anchored to the bottom. You'll see the big chains coming off the 4 legs of the rig, and they actually go all the way down 3, 4, 5,000 feet to large anchors.
You know, being around these rigs, it's really neat. We talked about they provide a lot of bait, a lot of resource for a lot of food out there.
It's basically like a city out there. You got helicopters landing, you got people working, you know, noises and all that, but man, do they attract some fish.
That's right. And why do they attract this fish?
Structure in the water. It gives a point in a otherwise empty ocean. There's subsea structure and then shade. So it gives bait something to congregate around, and that starts the food chain. Once you have the small bait, bigger fish come to eat that, and bigger fish come to eat that. So,
but then these fish, you know, about midday start coming up, and we see them busting. I mean, these are big tunas. This is what we want to catch. And we trolled around them for a while, and we just couldn't get the bite. The first one that came out of the water behind that plug, I was terrified. So we have tunas like all throughout the Gulf of Mexico. We're gonna try to target the yellowfin tunas. We're trying to kind of change our tactics because, you know, the troll, we got a bite doing it, but then it was kind of slow.
And Justin doing what he does, he's used to seeing, when he sees a fish bust,
that's it.
It's almost instinct to grab a spinning rod and cast.
Go!
So he said, man, will these fish eat a popper? And I said, they'll eat your popper, but I'm not fighting one on a spinning rod. So here's your choices. Go ahead and rig one up if you'd like. And I think that's when the trolling ended.
Y'all know that I like to fish some light tackle, see a bite on top. And it sounded like a great idea. The first one that came out of the water behind that plug, I was terrified.
These big tunas are busting right here. I just threw a popper up there, and this thing just smoked it. Probably 100-pound yellowfin. Missed it once and then came back and crushed it again. Amazing bite.
When you're on the bow of a big sport fisher, I mean, you're what, 8, 10 feet off the water? Like, you're not gonna be able to walk up there with a gaff on the bow of the boat.
It's amazing, number one, that we get to do that, but then to see the people be prepared and make everything, you know, I could see me or you know, a newer angler, when you're trying to do something like it takes a lot of time in figuring that out, like getting the rod from the front, you know, 60 feet to the back of the boat.
Yep, he's definitely digging a little bit, but I'm gaining.
When a bite would go off or a bite would happen, it was so neat. Nobody had to prove anything, but everybody just kind of goes into action.
Yeah, and to me, every like sport fishing team, like what y'all have, you know, you have your system, and every boat's got a different system. And, you know, I'm gonna throw Strap a bone here because it was nice having him down there on the deck pretty much the whole time. You know, I hadn't done this in a long time. I know Joey does it a good bit. Well, Strap knows the system on your boat.
Yes, he fishes with us quite a bit. He knows it well.
He does, and he was able to kind of show us and then pass off some of those duties so that way, you know, we're starting to figure out your system, but it's not all on Chris Strapple right here to do it all himself.
That's what I'm talking about, guys. Good job, dudes. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. On the little plug rod. And numb forearms, dude. I can't feel my forearms.
Presentation means a lot, you know, versus something that's moving along at a fairly steady pace versus a popper that's stop and go and stop and go.
Look at him out there, tailing.
Obviously made a lot of difference. You know, once we stopped and you threw the popper, I mean, we got an instant reaction.
So I know everybody thinks I have good luck. I probably do, you know. I've been called Clover, carry my lucky Clover, whatever.
The luck of the leak is real.
Hey, I'll take it. I mean, I like it. But, you know, when that first cast, when I saw a fish come up and bust that popper, I was like, okay, this might work.
Perfect throw. Great throw. Yeah. Great throw. There you go, Adam. Fish on, baby.
Adam is up and he throws a popper. He must have had some kind of good luck charm with him too, because he got hooked up quick. Did y'all hear about it or see a good luck charm Adam had with him?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with his feet down there, these multicolored toes that popped out of these giant flip-flops.
Yeah, and I'm very blessed with 3 daughters. And so when you have a pastime with your 7-year-old daughter, she paints your toenails. Yeah, that was hopefully my lucky charm for sure, but.
Well, it must have been, because it worked.
Yeah, that was just so enjoyable. Again, everybody poking fun.
Been wearing them painted ever since, so it must be doing well for you.
Every time we go fishing now, we require Adam to, let's see him. No.
I got the toenails, we're good. Yeah. You know.
Biggest. He did. Whoa. Watch out, guys. Coming in the way. Holy moly. Are you kidding me? Hey, how'd you catch him so much faster?
That extra 40 pounds.
I know. If I was 7 foot tall, I would have whooped him that quick too.
That was awesome.
That was a beast gaff right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was.
Man, time to bring the cooler outside.
Chasing the Sun has been brought to you by Minn Kota, Florida Water Sports, Grundens, we are fishing, Panama City Inshore, these guys can fish, and by Visit Panama City Beach, real fun beach.
We are very excited to be here at Panama City Beach. If you can't hear from my accent, I'm from Boston. We like to chase the sun. And what better place than Panama City Beach? They're the nicest people we come across. We love being here. It's a great time every time we come here. There's over 35 craft beers, over 37 food trucks. We bring a lot out here. We put a lot of effort into making these events huge. And we also love our veterans. And all veterans and military are free on us. You can try anything from gourmet hot dogs to cheeseburgers, to tacos, to Mexican food, to wood-fired pizza. We have bacon on a stick, which is a fan favorite. We have Caribbean cuisine, we have Thai cuisine. You name the food that you want to try, and it's here in one spot at this event in Panama City Beach. It's one of a kind.
Having the fish boxes pretty much topped off with 3 large yellowfin tuna. We made the call to idle overnight back towards the fads and be there for a sunrise with a little different scenery.
And the fad, just a buoy basically, I mean, I tell you, when I pulled up and I was looking at that sounder, it was just covered.
And you have those underwater lights and the sun's just coming up, and you have those flying fish, which is really cool because people see them skip out of the water and fly, but when they're just kind of chilling, they just kind of sit there with their wings out.
Yeah, the silvers and the blues, words really don't do it justice.
And all of a sudden, we're just looking at the flying fish. All of a sudden, we see that first mahi come in. That's not like the mahi we catch inshore.
Quality class fish there. Look at that big mahi.
Oh.
That's the man there.
That's what
You got that flyer out?
Yeah.
Be ready.
And all of a sudden, it's like the scramble. Everybody's got a rod. We're throwing every lure in the boat at them. So I know y'all have seen us mahi fishing on this show because it's something we do every year. But typically we're inshore mahi fishing, and they're smaller fish. I mean, those are less than a year old.
Yeah, there you go. Leave right there. Open your bill.
I don't do a whole lot of mahi fishing. I'm bottom fishing, 99% of the time, and I didn't know what I was doing. He said, just keep it out there and wait for him to take it.
Leave it. The big guy's gonna eat it.
Free spool it.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, just real tight and slow.
You must have had a lucky something with you
It
too.
was you, is what it was.
Oh, okay.
I think it was your pole, is what it was.
Those are the exact fish you want to see if you go out there and say, man, I want to catch some decent mahi. Those 2 to 3 year old fish, like you said, they grow fast, they're easily renewable.
And that's one of the neat things about the mahis and those tunas really is a lot of fish, once you start getting into the larger sizes of them, your food quality starts to go down, but that's not the case with them. It's the exact opposite. Yeah, so it never hurts to take a big old fillet off a big mahi, and that's gonna make some legit food right there.
They don't want it to move. He's on. There we go.
We catch the mahi off of the fad, we're pretty much out of room at this point.
Yeah!
We want to take good care of the fish we have in the boat.
Hey, this is why we ride out here and watch the sun come up. This is the little guy. Y'all look at the big one in here.
We were like, mullet, box is full. What are we going to do now?
No, it was definitely time to call it a day and go home and leave on a high note. And we had a 3-hour ride back to Panama City.
Everybody enjoyed themselves. There was no stress, it was carefree. And to make that ride home, to me, there's not really a better feeling.
Well, we're pulling back up to the dock here. We just basically had the fishing trip of a lifetime.
I sure am glad you planned it like that.
Yes.
Where the fish were gonna bite like they did, and we were gonna be able to come halfway home, the first night. That just, you should plan it like that every time.
I should, and I don't know why I don't. We were done cleaning fish before dark. We were wrapped up and off the dock before sunset.
Get done staking out the tuna just in time to throw it on the grill for dinner. I mean, it was about perfect.